Imagine the scenario. You're exhausted at the end of another day, overloaded with tasks you didn't want to perform, commitments you'd rather avoid, and responsibilities you accepted only because you felt you couldn't refuse. We've all been there, trapped in the cycle of saying yes to everything and everyone, often at the cost of our inner peace. The act of saying no may seem simple at first glance, but in practice, it's one of the deepest challenges of our time. Saying no goes beyond refusing an invitation or avoiding a task. It's about setting boundaries, protecting your energy, and above all, cultivating inner peace. Personal connection, a common struggle with no. Often, we accept more than we should out of fear of displeasing others or appearing selfish. Have you ever felt that weight on your chest when you wanted to refuse something but couldn't muster the courage to do it? Maybe it's a friend's invitation to an event when all you want is to rest at home, or a request for help at work that interferes with your own deadlines. We recognize this feeling, and that's exactly why we're here today. Saying no is not a sign of weakness or lack of compassion. On the contrary, it's an act of strength and clarity. It means knowing what matters to you and protecting it. The good news is that we can learn to say no in a respectful and confident manner while honoring our own needs. The philosophy of detachment and the power of no. At the heart of the practice of no is the concept of non-attachment. This idea, central to Zen, teaches us that we can release the weight of our own expectations and those of others. By saying no, we create space, mental, emotional, and physical, for what truly matters. In Stoicism, we find the principle of focusing only on what is within our control. You cannot control how others react to your no, but you can control how you communicate your priorities. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Buddhism teaches us about the importance of living in the present moment. Saying no to external distractions helps us be more fully present in what truly matters. After all, when we accept more than we can handle, we sacrifice the quality of our present moment. Finally, Taoism emphasizes the natural flow of life. Saying no to certain opportunities doesn't mean closing doors permanently, but simply choosing a path that is more aligned with your rhythm and needs at that moment. The barriers to no. Internal and external pressures. Why is it so hard to say no? In part because we face internal and external pressures. Internally, we often feel guilt, fear of rejection, or the belief that we are responsible for the well-being of everyone around us. Externally, we face social, cultural, and even professional expectations that encourage us to always be available. This constant pressure creates a draining cycle. The more we say yes to things we don't want or need, the further we stray from our priorities. Saying no, then, becomes an essential practice for living with more intention and authenticity. A reflection exercise. Before we continue, take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you said yes to something you wished you had refused? What prevented you from saying no? How did you feel afterward, satisfied or overwhelmed? Think about these situations as we move forward in this guide. They will be important for understanding how to apply the strategies we'll explore in the next topics. Share in the comments. What is your biggest difficulty in saying no? What kind of situation would you like to learn to handle better? Let's explore the answers together to build a community of support and learning. The power of intention. The importance of aligning actions with values and priorities. Before learning to say no effectively, it's crucial to understand what truly matters to you. We live in a world where so many things compete for our attention that it's easy to lose focus on the priorities that bring true satisfaction. Intention is the starting point. When you have clarity about your values and priorities, it becomes easier to make decisions aligned with what truly matters. This means saying no, not just to what is harmful, but also to what, although tempting, does not align with your long-term goals. A practical example? Imagine you value quality time with your family, but a colleague asks you to stay late at work to help with a project. Your clear intention to prioritize your family gives you the courage to politely refuse, staying true to what is most important to you. As Viktor Frankl, a psychologist and Holocaust survivor, said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." Cultivating clarity to identify what matters. Have you ever felt lost, trying to please everyone without really knowing what you want? This is a symptom of disconnection from your core values. The first step to cultivating clarity is to set aside time for reflection. Ask yourself, what are my main values? What do I want to achieve at this moment in my life? Which activities, commitments, or people truly help me get there? When you establish these priorities, the act of saying no becomes less about rejecting something or someone and more about honoring your own needs and goals. Developing courage to say no. Even when we are clear about our intentions, we often lack the courage to act on them. This is natural. Most of us have been conditioned to avoid conflicts or rejections. However, it's important to remember that saying no is not an act of aggression or selfishness, but an affirmation of boundaries. Consider the following approach. Instead of seeing no as something negative, think of it as a yes to what is most significant to you. When you say no to unnecessary commitments, you are saying yes to your mental health, personal growth, and most important relationships. An example of this is in the practice of mindfulness, which teaches us to respond rather than react. When faced with a request, take a pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this aligned with my intentions? If the answer is no, move forward with confidence. Reflection exercise. Let's practice. List 3 things that are absolute priorities in your life right now. Think of a recent situation where you said yes, but wished you had said no. Was this aligned with your priorities? Now, imagine how you could have said no in a polite and assertive manner. Visualize the dialogue in your posture. This type of reflection helps create an internal map, allowing you to navigate future situations with more clarity and determination. The wisdom of alignment. By aligning your actions with your intentions, you begin to live with more purpose and fewer regrets. As the philosopher Confucius said, "The man who chases 2 rabbits catches neither. Focus on what is essential, and the rest will adjust." What are the values or priorities that most guide your decisions? Share in the comments and let's exchange experiences. This reflection can be inspiring for other members of the community. Practical strategies for saying no. Assertive communication. The heart of respectful no. Saying no doesn't mean being rude or insensitive. On the contrary, it's possible to refuse requests with firmness and empathy using assertive communication skills. Assertive communication is the art of expressing your thoughts and feelings clearly and directly, respecting both your own needs and the needs of others. An example, when invited to an event you don't want or can't attend, an assertive response could be, "Thank you for inviting me, but I won't be able to make it this time. I hope it's a success, and I can't wait to hear how it went." This type of response clearly states your position without causing resentment, balancing firmness and courtesy. The yes but technique. One of the most effective ways to soften a refusal is to use the yes but technique. This approach allows you to acknowledge the request or the feeling of the person asking, while also setting a clear boundary. For example, if a colleague asks for your help on a project and you're short on time, you could respond, "Yes, I'd love to help, but I can only dedicate time to it at the end of the week when I finish my current commitments." This technique offers an alternative solution and shows consideration while maintaining your commitment to your priorities. Practicing with small refusals. For many people, the biggest challenge in saying no is dealing with the anxiety and discomfort that comes with it. A strategy to overcome this is to start small. Practice saying no to requests that don't have significant emotional or social implications. For example, Politely refuse offers of unnecessary services or products. Decline casual invitations to events that don't interest you. Challenge yourself not to accept extra tasks at work when you're already overloaded. These small refusals build confidence and prepare you to handle more difficult situations in the future. Managing others' reactions. One of the biggest fears in saying no is how others will react. Some people may feel hurt, and that's natural. However, it's important to remember that you can't control others' feelings, only how you communicate your position. Tips for dealing with negative reactions. Stay calm and reiterate your decision respectfully. Don't feel the need to excessively justify your choice. Offer empathy without giving up your boundaries. I understand that this may be disappointing, but it's important for me to stay focused on what I've already committed to. Practical exercise. Rehearsing responses. Let's practice. Choose one of the situations below and think about how you would respond assertively. A friend asks for help with a move on the same day you plan to rest. A colleague wants you to review an urgent report during your lunch break. A family member insists you attend an event, even knowing you already have other plans. Write your responses and practice saying them out loud. The more you familiarize yourself with these situations, the more natural it will be to handle them in the future. Confidence and clarity. The results of a good no. With practice and intention, saying no becomes a powerful tool for maintaining your balance and well-being. A well-communicated no is a way to protect your energy and say yes to what truly matters. As Steve Jobs said, focus is about saying no to 1,000 good ideas. Did you know that saying no can literally change the shape of your brain? Studies in neuroscience show that by practicing healthy boundaries, the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for decision-making and self-control, strengthens. It's like working out the mental gym of your brain. By saying no, you create new neural connections that help manage stress and improve your focus. Curious, right? It's like training an invisible superpower. And what if I told you this? Superpower can also increase your creativity. Let's explore this together in the next section. Share in the comments. When was the last time you said no assertively? How did you handle the situation? And what was the other person's reaction? Let's learn together from these experiences. Creating space for what matters. The value of space. Rest, reflection, and growth. Imagine your life as a garden. If you don't create space between the plants, the soil becomes depleted, the roots compete for nutrients, and eventually, everything starts to wither. The same happens to us when we don't take intentional breaks. Saying no is like removing the excess weeds from the garden of your life. It creates space for what truly matters to flourish. When you free up time and energy by refusing unnecessary commitments, you make way for rest, reflection, and personal growth. These moments are not luxuries, but fundamental needs for a balanced and meaningful life. The role of no in self-care and mindfulness. In our culture of constant productivity, saying no is often seen as laziness or lack of ambition. However, the reality is that without prioritizing self-care, the quality of what we do and how we live inevitably diminishes. Saying no to excess allows us to adopt practices like mindfulness and being present, where we can be in the moment and recharge our energies. Something as simple as setting aside time to meditate, take a walk, or even do nothing can have a profound impact on your mental and emotional health. Think about this. When was the last time you consciously took a break without guilt? A well-placed no can be the gateway to this kind of freedom. Practical examples of intentional space. Time for family. By saying no to a work commitment on the weekend, you create space to connect with your loved ones, strengthening important bonds. Personal growth. Refusing invitations to social events that don't resonate with you can open up time for reading, learning, or other enriching activities. Physical and mental well-being. Saying no to a tight routine can allow you to fit in exercise, rest, or hobbies that nourish your soul. An inspiring example comes from Taoist philosophy, which invites us to go with the flow instead of fighting against it. Creating space in your life is not just functional, but a way to align with the natural rhythm of existence, deeper connection with yourself and others. When you create space, something magical happens. You connect with yourself and others more authentically. When we are less overloaded, we can offer our full attention and genuine energy to the people and activities that truly matter. For example, by refusing casual commitments that have no meaning for you, you can say yes to precious moments with friends that nourish your soul. Or by freeing up space in your schedule, you can have quality time to reconnect with your forgotten passions. Reflection exercise. What can you let go of? Take a moment now to reflect. List 3 commitments or activities that you feel take up unnecessary space in your life. If I say no to this, what could I create space for? Choose one of these things and try saying no the next opportunity you get. Remember, creating space is not selfishness. It's an act of self-love and care. The wisdom of space. As the famous Zen saying goes, you can't fill a cup that's already full. Saying no empties your cup, allowing it to be filled with what truly matters. And this is one of the most powerful ways to live intentionally. What space would you like to create in your life by learning to say no? Share your answer in the comments and inspire others with your journey toward a more intentional life. Living with intention. Recapping the lessons. Throughout this guide, we've explored how the simple act of saying no can transform your life. From the importance of aligning your actions with your values to practical strategies for refusing assertively, each step has aimed to help you prioritize your inner peace and create space for what truly matters. Saying no is not just about rejecting requests, it's an act of courage and self-compassion. It's choosing to live with intention, respecting your boundaries, and focusing on what nourishes your soul. Recapping the main points. The philosophical basis of no. Inspired by Stoicism, Buddhism, and Taoism, we learn to detach from external expectations and focus on what is within our control. The importance of intention. Clarity about our values and priorities makes no an expression of alignment, not rejection. Practical strategies. With techniques like assertive communication and the yes but approach, we can refuse requests with respect and firmness, creating space for what matters. Freeing yourself from excess allows for rest, reflection, and deeper connections with yourself and others. The transformative power of intentional no. Living with intention means being an active participant in your own life, making decisions that respect your energy, time, and values. Each time you say no to something that doesn't align with your goals, you are saying yes to a fuller and more meaningful life. Think about a recent decision where you had to choose between saying yes or no. What impact did that choice have on your life? How would it be different if your decision was intentional and aligned with your priorities? As a Zen proverb says, if you sit by the river long enough, you will see the natural flow of life. Living with intention allows us to observe and interact with life more consciously, rather than being swept away by it. An important exercise. Your statement of intention. Take a moment now to create your own statement of intention. Write a sentence that will guide your choices from here on out. Something like, I choose to say no to what doesn't nourish my soul, so I can say yeses to what brings meaning and joy. My time and energy are precious, and I choose to spend them consciously. Saying no is an act of self-care that allows me to live my best life. Write this statement in a visible place, like in your journal, on your bathroom mirror, or as a note on your phone. Use it as a daily reminder to live with intention. Inspiration to continue. The act of saying no is a practice that evolves over time. Each intentional no you say strengthens your confidence and clarity, creating a life more aligned with what truly matters. Be kind to yourself throughout this process. There will be moments when it's difficult to refuse, and that's okay. Remember that each step counts and that the goal is not to be perfect, but to live more consciously. To organize your thoughts and understand the need for development, tell me, what was the last situation where you said yes when you wished you had said no? What do you find most challenging about setting boundaries? What are your most important priorities right now, and how can no help protect them? If this content resonated with you, like this video, comment sharing your experience, and send it to someone who needs to learn the power of no. Want to take the next step? Access our exclusive ebook on how to live with more intention? The link is in the first pinned comment. And don't stop here. Choose one of the videos that appear on the screen and continue your journey toward a lighter and more meaningful life. Let's do this together. Say yes to continuing this journey.